Do you have a skincare mistake?
Honestly, I don't know how you guys feel, but I feel like exfoliation wasn't really this hot of a topic until like social media made it to be. Next thing you know on social media is like everybody, like teens are exfoliating when they
Crazy.
don't need to.
I feel like exfoliation really took off with social media to its detriment.
I don't even feel like the user is all to blame. When you look at some of the directions on some of these exfoliating products, even say to use it twice a day, and I'm like, wait, there's no way. Like I will tell my patients to use this once or twice a week.
And I think for quite a while on social media, people were exfoliating the shit out of their skin, okay? I mean, they were destroying their skin barrier. And that's why now in 2025, we are seeing the trend of skin barrier repair. That's why every single brand is focusing on skin barrier repair, Centella asiatica, ceramides, because we've fucked up our skin, let's be honest.
Welcome to Skin Deep and Unfiltered. We couldn't be more excited that you are joining us for episode 1. Today, we're going to dive into some of the skincare basics by tackling the biggest and most common mistakes we wish everyone would stop making with their skin.
We are going to cover so many tips and tricks and actionable takeaways. So be sure to download the PDF that's linked in the show notes. But before we get into it, let's introduce ourselves so you know who you're hanging out with on Skin Deep and Unfiltered.
All right, I just want to take a quick moment to acknowledge one of our initial sponsors, that's In Beauty Project. They stepped up and offered to sponsor our first episode, which we're so excited about. Also, interestingly, we all use In Beauty Project, specifically their extreme cream. So we were so excited to see that they wanted to sponsor this episode. And as derms, we're always looking for the best skincare formula to recommend to our patients. But one of our most recent discoveries that delivers on efficacy, performance, and quality is the In Beauty Project Extreme Cream. So this is one of my go-to moisturizers. It's ideal for all skin types and ages, whether you're 25 or you're above the age of 65, because it has a superior formula packed with ingredients like peptides, ceramides, and bioretinol, which all help with lifting, firming, hydrating. These all have amazing benefits for the skin and is well tolerated by all skin types. It's clinically tested, it's hypoallergenic, it's non-comedogenic, meaning it won't break you out, and it's fragrance-free. And my favorite part is that it is just under $50, which is a steal for a product that can do all of these amazing things. It's truly one of the most high value products that we have come across to date. This is the type of daily care that your skin needs in between procedures and derm visits. And also, I am so grateful, but they gave us a code for 15% off. So exciting. So the code is Skin Deep. It's one word. You can use it at inbeautyproject.com. That gets you 15% off your first order of the extreme cream. And then you could click the link in the show notes as well if you want to also save 15% off your order.
Let's kick off the podcast by introducing ourselves, and I'll go first. My name is Dr. Jenny Liu. I'm a board-certified dermatologist and assistant professor in the Twin Cities. I practice general dermatology. A big part of my practice is ethnic dermatology. In fact, over 50% of my patients are skin of color, so a lot of concerns there, along with hyperpigmentation, hair loss. I also train dermatology residents, medical students, non-derm residents. So education is a big part of what I do, and one of the main reasons I got onto social media. I'm passionate about skincare because it's very universal. I feel like skincare is about confidence, health, and helping people feel their best. And for me, that's kind of what embodies skincare. And also, part of that is self-care. And I'm really excited about this podcast to be chatting with Dr. Mamina and Dr. Lindsay, two of my best friends that I've met through social media, to chat about dermatology, take a deeper dive on all the topics in dermatology that we can't easily do in the short format videos that we create on social media. And just to also chat about life and learn about motherhood and the things that you don't see us talk about on social media. And what I'm hoping listeners will gain is just we want to make skincare simple, approachable, and empowering for everyone. And also hopefully listeners will get to know me a little bit better about me as a person person than just that face I see on my TikTok or Instagram videos.
Yeah, so I'm Dr. Lindsay Zabritzky. I'm a board certified dermatologist. I've been practicing for almost a decade now. I currently work in private practice on the Gulf Coast. So where I practice, I see tons and tons of sun damage and skin cancer. So not only do I practice, medical dermatology, but also cosmetic, surgical, pediatric. I kind of do it all. You may know me most from social media where I'm at Derm Guru, where I give out tips and tricks and myth busting and hacks, but I'm so passionate about skincare and medicine and dermatology, and I really got into social media to help spread that awareness and to spread that passion. So since I got out of being in residency, I didn't have that education like Jenny does to give residents, to give those lectures. So I went on social media to provide my knowledge to so many people. And it seemed like everyone was so interested. And that's one of the reasons that I think you all will be so excited about this podcast the way we are, because we really get to do a much deeper dive than those videos that you see online. We can tackle the nuances, tips and tricks, and not just that, but to demystify skincare and talk about how we do it. I think one of the biggest questions I get is, how do you do it all as a practicing dermatologist, as a mother, as a content creator? So we're going to do deep dives on all of those things. And I just couldn't be more excited to be here with, again, two of my best friends, people that I have really got to know over the years in this very small, very specific niche of a space. And I can't wait for you all to get a look inside of our lives.
And I am Dr. Mamina Turegano. I'm a board certified dermatologist. I'm also board certified in internal medicine and dermatopathology because I'm crazy. I've been in private practice for about 11 years. I currently am practicing in the New Orleans area. I practice medical derm as well as cosmetic derm, but I have a huge passion in taking a holistic approach to skin health, including looking at diet, lifestyle, sleep, stress, all the kind of outside environmental factors that could be playing a role in our skin as well as our overall health. I also am very passionate about teaching. I think it's a lot of fun. And being in private practice, like Lindsay said, you don't get to teach residents as much. And so being on social media is such a great opportunity to teach and share a lot of knowledge that people may not know about and feel like they have to see a doctor to learn about. And so it's so nice to be able to have a platform where we can share a lot of information that people may not necessarily get that easily, and also make it enjoyable and kind of more in a bite-sized format so that it's easy to take in. And the goal is to just empower people to take care of their skin, to feel better in their skin. And the goal is for people just to feel better and more confident in their overall lives. And it's so exciting that I get to be with Jenny and Lindsay for this. And yeah, we've definitely have grown close over the years, just bonding over the crazy situation that is being a practicing dermatologist on social media. So very excited for this podcast.
So how did we even meet, guys? I mean, it's been so many years. I don't even remember what happened. Do you?
Gosh, it has to be like, I'm sure we met at certain brand trips maybe. And but part of me wonders if we even met before that, like just online. I don't even know what came first.
I feel like we first started following each other on our
Okay.
platforms,
Okay.
and then yeah, I mean, like I don't even know, Lindsay. How did we start doing this collab? I feel
Okay.
like that is really what
Yeah.
got us kind of close together. It was like this monthly collaboration, right?
I feel like it's coming to me. Okay. I used to follow Jenny. I mean, when I was in residency, and I looked up to her and thought what she was doing was one of the coolest things I've seen. So she inspired me to get into this space. And then from there, we would comment on each other's posts and really be supportive of each other. And then we would get each other's numbers, and we would talk and we would chat. And it taken many years. And I want to say the first time we met was maybe at the AAD. And then I believe I met Mamina at the airport in the Delta Lounge eating soup. So
That's
we ended up
right.
going to France together, learning about skincare. So what a crazy first way to meet somebody.
I know, right?
Yeah, that was great. A lot of great memories from that trip. And then I think shortly, maybe that after that, sometime that year or the year after, Jenny and we hung out in person
Yes.
too at
I know.
some
I
kind
I
of
feel like it's so
event.
funny because we know each other, but we actually don't hang out that often. But
Yeah.
that's like the beauty of social media. You feel like you really know someone, but you've never actually met them. Until finally one day you like me, like, oh my gosh, it's so nice to finally meet you in person, you know?
Yeah, it is
Yes.
the strangest thing.
Right.
People will say that to me all the time, and I will say that to people as well. You follow these people and they're in your lives. They
Yeah.
feel so personal to you. You watch them have a baby. You watch
Right.
these intimate aspects of their life and you feel like you know them. And then when you meet them in person, you can't remember if you truly know them or not.
That's
It is
right.
very weird. So what is new with you guys? Like what is happening this week for you?
Okay, I feel like this week has been a once in a lifetime week for people here in New Orleans and just the Gulf South. Is the crazy snowstorm that we had a couple days ago, and the fact that it just remained freezing. So we got 8 inches of snow. The most snow that the
Oh,
city has ever gotten was 10
Gosh.
inches in 1895. So this is like a record level. We don't even know if the 1895 record is correct. So this could have been the highest recording like snowstorm ever, and it's incredible, honestly. Like
Yeah.
I forgot
How are you
how
guys
amazing
dealing
snow
with
is.
that? I wanna
We're
ask
not
because
we're
you know
not dealing with
okay, I
exactly.
like
figured.
no infrastructure.
Things
Well,
just shut down.
thankfully, I think we have some trucks coming in from out of state that are like salting and shoveling some bigger roads. And thankfully today the roads are finally starting to melt, but it was
Yeah.
not we were all trapped in
Y-
in our houses for the last 48 hours or
Yeah,
longer.
if
Yeah.
you guys don't know, I live only about an hour and a half from Mamina. So
Okay.
I live like right on the beach in this little beach town and the same thing happened to us. I mean, we had 10 inches of snow and I'm from the north. I'm from Pittsburgh where, a couple inches of snow, Jenny, is no big deal, but
Mhm.
here I found out that even a dusting, which we didn't get a dusting, the infrastructure is not
Right.
there. There's no
Yeah.
plows, there is no salt. We have been snowed in for about 3 days now, to the point where I didn't know what to do with my kids today. School was canceled all week long, but we did do the coolest thing because we did it very southern. We got a boat tube and we pulled it around in a golf cart around our neighborhood because down in the south we don't have sleds, we don't have gloves, we don't have the regular things that you use for a snowstorm.
I saw that in your stories. That was really fun. I was like, "Oh god, I think my kids would have loved it." Well, unlike you guys, we definitely have the infrastructure, and we're used to, like, 6 inches. I mean, things don't shut down until it's, like, 2 feet of snow, but, like, it was a record cold low, like, on Tuesday, school was canceled because it was, like, -16 degrees.
Oh my gosh.
Like, it
Oh my
hurt to
gosh.
breathe. Like, I went to work and it's a short walk between the parking lot and my clinic, and even for that brief, like, minute, I was like, I had to hold my breath because it hurt to breathe,
Oh my
and,
gosh.
like, seeing a lot of, like, bloody noses and,
Oh my gosh.
eczema is just it's tough. It's really tough.
I
I
don't
know,
know
and
how
today is,
people
like,
do it.
20 degrees, and we're like, "Oh my god, it's so warm. I wanna go
People
out in my shorts."
I was gonna say people are probably in shorts and tank
Yeah.
tops in that weather. Where when it's like 60 here, people are in their jackets. Like the
Yeah.
difference between where you are
Right.
dictates what you wear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if I could handle the cold. I don't know how people in the Midwest do it. So major
It's
props to you guys.
I
Wow.
I don't know about you, Mamina, but we had to reschedule. I mean, I had probably 80 patients on my schedule that we had to just cancel. And I feel terrible. And it's like, where am I going to put these patients? It's just another layer of the how complicated it is to be a mom, a working dermatologist, to have a husband who's not a stay-at-home dad, to do content creation. I'm like, who's going to watch my kids when I record this podcast? It's just like the struggle is always there.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's tough.
totally. Like, yeah, having to reschedule all my patients, we've had to like spread it out over multiple days.
Mhm.
And also like our nanny, because daycare, of course, is closed today. So Rob went and picked up our nanny from her house. Like he felt
Okay.
comfortable enough to drive. But yeah, it's because it's like I didn't know what we were going to do today. So
Yeah,
it's a lot to juggle.
Has this winter been much colder for you guys in general?
I don't know. Even though we had this crazy snowstorm, it can get into the 20s in New Orleans for like
Um,
a couple days, but
yeah,
otherwise it's yeah, it
pretty.
doesn't seem especially different.
Yeah.
The snow
No,
is what makes it
yeah,
different.
I'm asking because I wonder if do you guys make significant skincare recommendations for like the winter? Because, I mentioned earlier, like eczema, dry skin, like pretty much that's like every single of my visits. And we have to always talk about, like how to almost like winterize your skin. All the other, the tricks of like switching to a thicker moisturizer, like Vaseline, petrolatum, Aquaphor everywhere, even inside the nose, for your lips, adding like a humidifier, all those things. Like, even though hot water is so good, but like cut back when you're, showering, things like that. Do you guys do that a lot for like when in the South? Because I've never actually spent much time in like winter there. Curious.
A little bit. We don't have to do it to the same degree. I know when I
Yeah.
was practicing in DC, it was different for sure, but it does get drier. So people's skin is so used to the humidity during the warmer
Mm.
months that there is definitely a shift that they notice, even if it's still not as cold or dry compared to other climates. All right, just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge one of our sponsors. They were one of the first sponsors to jump on board and support our show, and we are so grateful for them. And it is In Beauty Project. So, as dermatologists, we are always looking for the best skincare formulas to recommend to our patients. And one of our most recent discoveries that delivers on efficacy, performance, and quality is In Beauty Project's Extreme Cream. I'm holding it up here for people who are able to look at the video. This is one of my go-to daily moisturizers. It's ideal for all skin types and ages, whether our patients are 25 or 65 plus. It has a superior formula packed with ingredients like peptides, ceramides, and bioretinol for lifting, firming, and deep hydration benefits to the skin. And it's clinically tested, hypoallergenic, non-comedogenic, meaning it won't break you out, and it's fragrance free. Plus, at just under $50, it's truly one of the most high value products we have come across to date. This is the type of daily care that your skin needs in between procedures and derm visits. In Beauty Project clinically tests each final formula, proving that their skincare products are the most high performing on the market and deliver the results they claim. This is very important for us. And In Beauty Project pairs uncompromising innovation and formulas, delivering high performance skincare solutions for great skin days at any age. Remember to use the code Skin Deep at inbeautyproject.com to receive 15% off your first order of Extreme Cream, or click the link in the show notes to save 15% off your order. Okay, so now that you know what this podcast is and who we are, it's time to dive into our own Skin Deep and Unfiltered conversation. So, Lindsay, what is the number one mistake you wish everyone would stop making? If you could just pick one mistake, what would it be?
Okay, that's very hard because I feel like even before I became a derm, there were so many mistakes that I was making, and I see mistake after mistake every day, and that's no one's fault of their own. I think these lies and myths have been perpetuated over years. I mean, things that I learned from my mother and my grandmother, but I think where I practice, the one that's most prominent is seeing people wearing sunscreen the wrong way. So by and far, people are only wearing sunscreen when they go to the beach. And you would think where I live, where it's sunny all year round, people would understand the importance of sunscreen. But that myth is still perpetuated that you only have to wear it on a sunny day, when in fact, the evidence is supporting that it's not just those sunny days that give us skin cancer, especially when it comes to like basal cells and squamous cells. It's the incidental sun exposure that we're getting every day. Walking to the car, you get a little bit of sun, driving to work, taking your dog for a walk. So over time, those little things build up so much more than, a couple days at the beach every now and then. So people not wearing sunscreen every day. And even worse is relying on your makeup to count as your sunscreen. So it might say this as SPF 30, but y'all know, like, if you were to actually put the actual amount to give you that SPF 30, you would be a cakey mess. You know
You
what
would
I
look
mean?
insane. You
You
would
would
look
look
insane.
insane,
Yeah.
right? Do you guys see this too? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I feel
Oh,
like everyone relies on, they're like, oh, it's in my makeup. I don't need it.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that a lot from patients. And actually, wearing like a lot of patients actually, even where I live, where, when winter time, there's like really not a lot of sun and half the time it's cloudy, but there are days where it's so cold that there's no cloud. And the one thing that patients always come in is like, oh, I only wear it when I'm outside or during the summertime. And that's the thing I try to tell them about too, is like, yes, summer's important, but like every day, because even on like, it's the incidental, but on super sunny, cold days, like the snow greatly reflects like that UV. And, probably all seen commercials of like skiing in the summertime and you're wearing like, those glasses and your like face gets really red, those like,
Exactly.
right? So it's like a good
Yes.
reminder, yeah, that like you really need to wear sunscreen every single day, because a lot of times it is those incidental exposures that add up over time that makes a difference too. Yeah.
I really feel
Yeah.
like they should have sunscreen at ski resorts, by the way. Like, they need to make it more known that you're gonna get burned on the slopes. I've seen this. One time in residency, I got called at, like, 11 PM at night with a child who was on Accutane because they didn't wear sunscreen, and they had, like, the worst sunburn of like, a blistering sunburn, sun poisoning. Like, that is one of the most important places to wear sunscreen is when you're
Yeah.
around snow.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I
Yeah.
think would be a great idea? Because I have a friend who is involved with this company. It's called Sunstop, and they have like these kiosks that dispense sunscreen for free for people, and they like
I
will
love that.
display them, yeah, like in public places, like in parks, and they'll do it for like different festivals. They did it for Jazz Fest here in New Orleans, but I think that they should definitely look into the ski slopes with that. I think
Yeah, that's a great
people
idea.
would be
Yeah.
more, I think, motivated to wear sunscreen.
Yeah. I
Absolutely.
think that the easiest way for people to fix this, because when I tell my patients, hey, you got to put sunscreen on every day, they're like, well, I don't want to smell like I'm going to the beach. I think
Mhm.
that we have come so far in the elegance of sunscreen that
Yeah.
there is no excuse anymore. I mean, that from Korean sunscreens to those invisible gel formulations to moisturizing sunscreens, there is a sunscreen for every skin type and everyone that don't have an odor that smells like you're going to the beach, doesn't smell like coconuts,
Mhm.
that layer well with makeup. So it's just make it part of your everyday routine. I tell patients, put it by your toothbrush. You always brush your
Mhm.
teeth. You always put your sunscreen on. Make it a habit and you won't ever forget it.
Yeah, when
That's a great
patients ask, like, what's the best sunscreen? Like, because they're overwhelmed,
Mhm.
and I just tell them it's the one that you are willing to wear every day.
Yes.
It's the one that you enjoy
Hallelujah.
using, the one that
Yes.
feels good, the one that blends
Hmm.
well in your skin, and it really could be any sunscreen. We say, "Yes, look for SPF 30 and above and broad spectrum," but honestly, if it's a 25 that you enjoy, I'll be happy with that than nothing.
Yeah, better than
Um,
nothing.
Exactly.
but yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think we should not now because this could take forever, but let's remember to get into the differences of SPF and if it matters, because that is a huge topic.
Oh,
So
for sure.
yeah,
Yes, that's a
we'll do
great
an
idea.
episode on that. But yeah, Mamina, what's your mistake? What are you like? What do you see that people are doing wrong?
So one of my biggest things is people not washing their face at night. I think that, you think, "Oh my gosh, wait, what? How can you not wash your face?" But it's so common. So many people don't wash their face or they're like, I'll be fine. I'll be fine." And maybe like here or there, but I don't think people realize like how much buildup of a variety of different ingredients or elements build up on people's skin over the course of the day. We have the natural oil, but also we're exposed to pollution. There's a buildup of dirt, grime, and makeup, sunscreen. All those things collect and can, not only, aggravate the pores, but also just the skin cells in general
Yeah.
and accelerate aging if you're not
Mhm.
washing it off adequately. So, when people are like wanting to do all these things for a great anti-aging routine, yes, we talked about sunscreen, but also washing your face is such a basic and huge underrated step in one's skincare routine, I think.
What are your
Mhm.
thoughts on the double cleanse? Make or
I'm a
break? What do you think?
I love me a double cleanse because it just makes I
Mhm.
just think that it ensures that you are adequately removing all the makeup and sunscreen. I am a bigger proponent of it for people who are wearing more makeup and sunscreen.
Mhm.
If you're not
Mhm.
doing a lot of that, it may not be necessary. I mean, I think that it's great. I'm a big fan.
What do you think,
How about
Jenny? Yeah,
Me
yay or
too.
nay?
Yay, absolutely. I mean, excuse me, I double cleanse every night. Even when I'm not wearing makeup, because I wear a lot of sunscreen, I reapply throughout the day, and I feel like it's the only way. Before double cleansing, I'm just trying to think, and then when Mamina was, like, answering that question, what was I doing? Because I often, with my Asian fine lashes, I have to stick to water-resistant, waterproof mascara because that's the only way that I've found to really hold my lashes. And so I probably was using makeup wipes and didn't like them, or use those makeup removers, but then would, like, I feel like it would kinda irritate my eyes, but double cleansing has been for me the most effective yet gentle way of just removing everything, especially like my stubborn eye makeup. So I love it. And I kind of do this like little kind of a more modified double cleanse because I also use an acne cleanser at night too. So that's kind of like my water based cleanser. So what I do is like using a cleansing balm or oil first and then rinse that off. And then I will just go in with my benzoyl peroxide cleanser, kind of target the areas I need. That's been a routine that I've been doing for now, oh my god, like, I don't remember, like, 8, 9 years.
Yeah.
So, a long time. Yeah, it's worked well
I
for me.
When people ask me what are like some of the biggest changes that you've made to your routine, I double cleansing is always going to be
Yeah.
something that I answer with, because when I started doing that, I feel like I just really upped my skincare game, because I finally felt like I could get all that makeup and
Mhm,
debris off my skin. While the
mhm,
cleansers that are out there really do an excellent job, no matter whether it's drugstore or a $200 cleanser, which again,
mhm.
we'll get into the differences between the two. But I really feel like I don't even know what I was doing before. I must have just been going to
No.
sleep with, makeup on the side of my face. And that's probably why I was breaking out in those areas.
Mhm,
I think there are some derms on social media that I've seen, though, that aren't the biggest fans of double cleansing or don't recommend it to everybody. But I think using the appropriate products for your
mhm,
skin, it's relatively safe for
mhm,
almost anyone to do it. Even if you do
mhm,
have drier skin, I think you can use something like a
mhm.
cleansing balm that's really
Yeah.
gentle. You don't have to use a wipe to aggravate your skin. It just literally melts away the sebum and dirt and oil. And then you just use a very hydrating cleanser when you're done. It's just, to me, it's a no
Mhm.
brainer.
Hi, can we just stop for a moment? I wanted to talk about something that's personal to me. So, I've been dealing with hair loss on and off for the last 20 years. And after I had my baby about a year and a half ago, I also experienced postpartum hair loss. And there is a device that has truly helped me. They are also sponsoring this episode, so we're so grateful for them. This is iRestore, and they have the Elite helmet. It's called the Elite, and it's their red light therapy helmet. So, red light therapy has been shown to be effective for hair regrowth. And what I like in particular about the Elite is that it has both LED and laser technology. So, you're getting both broad coverage as well as really good penetration into the hair follicle. So, I'm holding it up to the camera because this is what it looks like. It kind of looks like a bike helmet. I'm going to turn it on and I'm going to put it on. It goes on really easily and it fits pretty well. It's comfortable. And what I really also appreciate is that in a 4-month double-blind clinical study performed by a board certified dermatologist, 100% of study participants grew more hair with iRestore's laser and LED technology. So you can feel confident knowing that you're buying a system with proven results. I would give yourself the gift of hair confidence this spring. For a limited time only, our listeners will get $625 off their iRestore Elite when you use code SkinDeep at irestorelaser.com. That's $625 off your iRestore Elite at irestorelaser.com with promo code SkinDeep. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Hair loss is frustrating. I get it, but you do not have to fight this alone thanks to iRestore.
Yeah, I second that completely. And for me, I've used so many different types from like drugstores here, Korean ones, Japanese ones,
Hmm.
and I feel like most of them actually rinse off really nicely, at least for me. And I have more like combination dry skin. It doesn't really leave this oily residue. So I agree with you, Lindsay. Like I really do think that if you need anybody, any skin type can double cleanse. Even for like sensitive skin, I think picking the right product is still fine. Yeah. And
Yeah.
only just doing it at night before you sleep. Obviously, don't do it
Yeah.
twice a day.
So
Yeah.
do you guys like, for your first cleanse, the oil? Do you like a cleansing balm, or do you like a micellar water? Rapid
Oh,
fire. Go.
Mine's
balm.
an oil.
Oh, okay, Jenny. What do you
I like
like?
balm. I balm. I like balm. I mostly because I really like the control that I get with the balm, where I can just like really work it into my eye
Mhm.
makeup and lashes that I can melt away everything. The oils work well too, but I just they kind of drip. So on days
Yeah.
where I don't wear makeup, I actually will just use an oil to remove the sunscreen. But when
Mhm.
I'm wearing a lot of makeup, I find that I get better control really with the balm.
Okay,
Yeah.
my reasoning for using an oil instead of a balm is pure laziness, like the extra effort it takes to open a lid is
Oh,
otherwise
yeah.
I love the texture of a balm. There's some
That's next
amazing
level,
balms out there,
Mamina.
I
but
know.
That's
but I'm
next
like,
level
I
laziness.
just it's next level laziness. Like I need a pump and just be done with it because
Oh.
this is another step in my routine.
Yeah.
No,
So I
I
actually have like things around. I have one on my counter. Couple. I actually have like a couple balms on my bathroom, and then like an oil in my shower. So that way, I just like like depending on the day, balm
yeah,
or oil, both.
I feel ya.
Yeah, I don't do a lot of micellar water though. I have to be honest, unless I don't wear makeup, because I don't feel like they do really a good job for me at removing that again water resistant like proof mascara, without
Yeah.
having to go really aggressive. Yeah.
I like
I,
my cellar water maybe when I'm traveling or if
Mm.
I usually shower at the end of the day. And so I really like to just get real messy in the shower, But when I don't want to get my sink all nasty from all the water dripping, I will use the micellar water to then very gently kind of like wipe stuff away when I just really don't feel like cleaning my sink?
Yeah.
I like micellar water. I'm definitely a fan, but once again, it's just more effort to use it. So,
Okay, so
but yes.
takeaways, Mamina is lazy girl skincare.
Yes,
I feel like
yes.
Jenny's probably a little extra. Maybe I'm somewhere in between.
There you go. Good summary.
Okay, wait, and then we have Jenny, do you have a skincare mistake?
Yeah, I think it's just overdoing it. I like especially with exfoliation and using retinoids. And honestly, I don't know how you guys feel, but I feel like exfoliation wasn't really this hot of a topic until like social media made it to be. I mean,
Mhm.
obviously as dermatologists, we talk about this probably more relevant to our patients who are older, maybe struggling with hyperpigmentation, things like that. But then next thing you know on social media is like everybody like tweens, teens
Mhm.
are exfoliating when they
Crazy.
don't need to. Yeah, when they don't need it, when they have the great skin. And then they're like using retinoids and stuff and they're overdoing it and they're getting really irritated. And so that's one thing is like less is more. I think
Mhm.
certainly like there is a place for, I feel like, I'm a little extra, but I think I still make my skincare and recommend it to be intentional. But yeah, I think just overdoing it too much. And that is where we see the skin barrier damage. And so, yeah, I feel like that's a mistake I see over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like a lot of people not needing it, right? When they, yeah,
I feel like exfoliation really took off with social media
yeah.
to its detriment. I don't
Mhm.
remember exfoliating when I was well. I lied. We exfoliated very differently back then.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
destroyed our skin barrier with physical barriers, but we felt
Yeah.
like the squeakier your skin was, the better. And then it kind of dropped off. And I feel like that's how everything is in life. That's how it is with skincare trends. That's how it is with fashion. That's how it is with makeup, where you overdo something and then the pendulum swings and then you underdo something. So it continues to try to always find that balance. And I think for
Mhm.
quite a while on social media, for at least 1 to 2 years, people were exfoliating the shit out of their skin. Okay. I mean, they were destroying their skin barrier. And that's why now in 2025, we are seeing the trend of skin barrier repair. That's why
Yeah.
every single brand is focusing on skin barrier repair, Centella Asiatica, ceramides, because we done fucked up our skin. Let's be honest. Okay.
Yeah, and honestly, like, it's one of my biggest pet peeves because I don't even feel like the user is all to blame, is when you look at some of the directions on some of these exfoliating products, it will
Oh,
even say
yeah.
to use it twice a day, and I'm like, "Wait, there's no way." Like, I will tell my
Yeah.
patients to use this once or twice
hmm
a week, especially
Yeah.
at least to
Oh, yeah.
start, and to not use it the same night as a retinoid.
Yeah.
And, so sometimes I'm like, I kinda blame the packaging and the directions too, and so I
Yeah.
think brands should also be
hmm
very cautious with
Just,
how they write their directions for
yeah.
exfoliation.
I
But
agree.
and it's tough too because some people maybe can tolerate it every day and some people can't. And one of the most common questions I get is how often should I exfoliate? And I'm just like, it depends on what the exfoliant is and what your skin type is and like what other
Right.
products you're
Mhm.
using.
Mhm.
You know, for gentle
Totally.
exfoliants, you could potentially use it every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For kind of more
Yeah.
hardcore, I would say usually like if it's an AHA that's like 10% or
Right.
higher, once or twice a week, you know,
Yeah.
usually not the same night as a retinoid. But I think
100%.
it's once again person
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
brand dependent.
And that's like the kind of the fun part, but also the tricky part of skincare is like it's really nuanced, and we get a lot of
Mhm.
questions, obviously, and we try to help and answer them in a general way. But it really depends on that person, their skin type, what they're using, what other products they're using, right? But I would say even for me, like thinking about exfoliation, like the one before social media, like what I equate exfoliation is like professional chemical peels that usually patients would get done or at the esthetician office. And nowadays, almost every brand has some sort of exfoliating product too, like
Oh yeah.
because of social media and the hype of exfoliation. And now we're seeing that it's overdone, and now brands are coming up with barrier repair products.
Yeah.
Just like Lindsay said,
they
Yeah.
they created the problem and now they're
Now they're-
fixing the problem. But no, I
yeah.
think Mamina, the question that you get, that we all get, is how often should I exfoliate, is one of
Yeah.
the most loaded, most complicated question. It's not like how often should I wear sunscreen? Every day. Period. How often you exfoliate is, I mean, you really have to do a deep dive and self-reflection to figure that out, because
Go on a
it
spiritual
depends on,
journey. Yes.
you really do. You really do. You have, like you said, first off, what's your skin type? Second, what other products are you using? Third, what type of exfoliation are you going to do? Are you going to do physical or chemical? If you're going to do chemical, are you going to use, a stronger one, a higher percentage? Are you targeting oil? Are you targeting texture? Are you going to do one that has a combination of things? Are you going to do a single one? I mean, it's like you could get a PhD on your thesis being how often should I exfoliate,
Yeah. Yeah. For
Totally.
sure.
Well,
Yeah.
how often
But-
do you guys exfoliate? Let's hear from the experts.
There you go.
I don't know if I'm a good person to ask because I love skincare and trying skincare. But because so I dabble with both like very gentle exfoliants and
Mhm.
then some of the more strong exfoliants. But I would say that because I I'm playing with these current gentle exfoliating peel pads from Neostrata, which I love.
Oh, I love
Mhm.
it.
And those have like PHAs. So I don't know if PHAs count because they're like almost moisturizing in a way.
Yeah.
But those I can use every day. But so I'll use those potentially almost every day, and then once a week, maybe twice a week, I will do something stronger, something that's like a 10 to 15% glycolic acid.
Mhm. Yeah.
Nice.
So you can definitely overdo it when you exfoliate. So I love the Dr. Dennis Gross pads. They really, really give my skin like the dewiest, glowiest look when I use them. But I have overdid it. I'm sure y'all have been there, but like I've given myself rip roaring perioral dermatitis from just destroying my skin barrier. So I have to be careful now because I did that to myself. I also really like the viral Polish Choice 2% BHA. Like that is viral for a reason. You just really have to be careful. If you're sensitive or you have dry skin, you don't want to be doing that once or twice a day like the bottle says. It's just not going to be good for you.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
try to exfoliate. Oh my god, I just say try because honestly, the most consistent thing I do is topical retinoid every night. I was better about doing that skin cycling trend where I would do like a retinoid, Monday through to Thursday or Friday, and then exfoliating once week at most. That's for me. In summertime, maybe I may step it up to twice a week, but I don't actually use an exfoliant as regularly in the wintertime, especially.
Mhm.
It's just also too like Mamina, like I have so many products and I do want to kind of try them too. But when you have so many, I think it's just I know what exfoliants do and what they do
Mhm.
for skin. So I rather kind of maybe save the room for other products to try because I also struggle from like acne and hyperpigmentation and work those into my routine. So I haven't been as good lately with using a exfoliant regularly, like once or twice a week.
Okay, guys, I have a question. If you had to pick, which would you choose? Retinoid or exfoliation? You could only pick one for the rest of your life.
Retinoids all the way.
Yeah, retinoids for me too.
Yeah, me too. I mean, that is like the goat of everything. I mean, technically, I think retinoids are considered exfoliation. While I wouldn't like fully call it that, it can still technically exfoliate your skin by increasing cell turnover, but just has so many other benefits for collagen building, helping with hyperpigmentation, acne. It kind of does it all, you know?
I know.
Yeah. Glycolic acid and HAs can help with collagen, which is a nice little perk, but just not to the same degree, I don't think, as retinoids.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of the essentials, but this is the fun part. Okay, we asked our followers to submit some questions. And I don't know about you, but the hardest part about being on social media is trying to answer all the questions that we get. So, this is a really great format to do a deep dive into the most commonly asked questions. So, maybe we'll start with you, Jenny. What is the question that some of your followers have asked you?
Yeah, and repeatedly, like, are retinoids, topical retinol, for example, safe when you are breastfeeding? I mean, no matter how many videos I talk about it, I still get asked, and it's tricky because I think sometimes even as providers, we don't always give consistent answer. Mostly, I think it's just because like to be safe in the sense, like, I think it's just easiest for maybe some derms to say, like, just avoid all these things when you're, like, not sure. But I would say, excuse me, retinoids are absolutely safe to use when you are breastfeeding for a couple reasons. Number one, it's been shown to have the minimal absorption into your breast milk. Two, there is vitamin A excreted into breast milk. And three, the levels that we're using is really not going to affect it. And so I think it's unless you avoid it, obviously around your nipple, but if you want to kind of kickstart your routine again because we're on hold during pregnancy, I think retinol is definitely one that you can safely use when you are nursing.
I don't know about you guys, but for my hospital bag, I packed myself my Araslo. Like that was, I could not wait to start it. I just felt like my skin was so dull and lifeless without it. No matter how many, retinol alternatives I tried to use, there's nothing that compares to using a retinoid or a retinol.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, I completely agree. Could not wait to use my retinoid. And I know there is a lot of fear because people often conflate what the advice is for when you're pregnant with what you're doing when you're breastfeeding. So yes, we don't recommend retinoids when you're pregnant. Namely, the oral retinoids have been, of course, shown to show birth defects. And then I think tazarotene, and I think there was a case report with tretinoin, but no evidence with breastfeeding. And something that I tell patients that is almost kind of reassuring is that isotretinoin is used in newborns with certain genodermatoses. So like they're getting straight oral isotretinoin. So I think using a topical retinoid on your face, the minuscule amounts in your breast milk, if there is even any, they're good.
Okay.
The baby's fully baked.
I'm gonna get really unfiltered here. Who
Go for it.
Have you guys used the topical retinoid when you were pregnant?
Oh my God. So I was just going to say this after Mamina was talking. Unintentionally, I was on tretinoin when I found out I was pregnant, and my child is fine, I think. I mean, she's fine. She's fine. But I, was probably like 7 or 8 weeks till I found out. And I was like, loving my retinoid, doing great. I would not recommend that for any listener. Do not do what I did. But what I hope to convey to you is that for the most part, these are all just kind of theoretical risks. So please don't freak out if that happens. Tell your OB. For the most part, I don't think they'll do much because, like Mamina said, there was maybe a case report that they couldn't even directly correlate with it. So I would not be like, still keeping on your tretinoin, especially in the first trimester. I have heard of some people, and I do, would not recommend this as not medical advice, but I've heard of some people using it like in the third trimester. And I've even heard of some OB-GYNs like saying that it's fine.
Yeah, well,
yeah, have you done it? What's the tea?
Yeah, so I definitely, because I was breaking out. So basically, like literally 34 weeks. I mean, I was like, I might as well I could have this baby today.
Yeah.
So I started using adapalene, which is like, because it's one of those things where it's like not well studied in the sense like it's pregnancy category C, which obviously most products in skincare and dermatology, we don't, in general, in medicine, we just don't. But like this one is like over the counter, which is like kind of tricky because in theory, you can have a mom who's expecting and not understanding, not knowing, and be using it, right? So there's that risk. But when it's over the counter, I was like, well, and also like it's pregnancy C. So I started using it for acne reasons in my third trimester. So I have the same conversation with my patients. In fact, I actually have a different conversation with my physician patients, because they really want to know. They're like, what have you done? And I'm fully honest. Obviously, I would never tell my followers, but like the case reports of it causing problems were like couple cases, and then they've actually done retrospective reviews of larger patient population that may have accidentally used topical like tretinoin throughout pregnancy and was fine. So it's one of those things where obviously understand the risks, do what you're comfortable doing. But I was like, I'm totally comfortable using adapalene on my face.
Nice.
And let's think about the reason behind that too. We don't recommend isotretinoin because it causes fetal abnormalities during the first trimester. When the baby is fully developed, there theoretically shouldn't be any concern with using a retinoid or a retinol, especially a retinol. I mean, that's not even retinoic acid, you know?
Yeah, totally. The organs are there. Babies, essentially developed.
But what about you, Mamina?
Spill the tea.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what I've done during pregnancy. I did avoid retinoids when I was pregnant. But I mean, I ate raw fish. That's not skincare, but there's other things other rules that I'm pretty sure I broke.
I think that I didn't do it because it was purely for cosmetic reasons. If I truly had painful acne that was really bothering me, I would be more open to considering using it. But it was strictly cosmetic. I just wanted to look better. And again, I really did my best with using things like bakuchiol and azelaic acid, and they're great. They really are. But it's just nothing beats good old tretinoin, you know? Okay, I think something that I get asked all of the time is Milia. Like people are obsessed with Milia. How do you get rid of it? What causes it? I think Dr. Pimple Popper made Milia very popular. So did TikTok. But Milia, I don't know about you guys, but again, what can't tretinoin do, right? That's what I recommend to my patients when they come in and they have Milia. There's three things I tell them to do. One is stop any heavy occlusive eye creams or slugging. Two is invest in a retinoid. So over the counter, I'll have them start adapalene or at least like an eye cream because you tend to get them around your eyes, an eye cream with retinol in it. And then three, if that doesn't work, we offer acne facials and surgeries at my clinic where you just go in and we'll extract them for a fee. And then that way you kind of like get the ball rolling, you get them gone, and then you start your adapalene or your retinoid and you prevent them from happening.
Yeah, I think that's a great approach. Milia can be so annoying. So I totally understand why so many people ask about how to get rid of them, because it's essentially multiple layers of skin overlying just a buildup clump of keratin. And you just have to figure out a way to get through multiple layers of skin. And really the fastest way is to get them manually extracted. But that's where the beauty of tretinoin comes into play, is it just helps increase that cell turnover. So you're not getting that buildup of skin. And also, I even tell people, like, just rub a little longer on those areas when you're washing your face. Just give a little extra rub. So even a little bit of manual exfoliation.
I love a good Milia extraction. I think I did several this week. It was really satisfying.
Most satisfying.
And if you're listening and you don't know what a Milia is, it's these little small white balls of keratin underneath your skin. They tend to occur in like thinner areas of skin, like around your eyelids, and they can be easily extracted by a derm. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that you do it at home because, again, anything close to your eye, leave it to a professional. But we can do it sterilely. We can do it very quickly, and we love doing it. It's so gratifying.
One of my favorite things to do. Yeah, in fact, I was just like, let me just get rid of that for you right now. And then here's some tretinoin you can use to prevent future ones. There you go.
Exactly.
What about you, Mamina? What question do you get?
kind of along the same subject of Milia. So question is, how do you get rid of skin tags? And the short answer is to see a derm. But skin tags are very common. They're just benign little small outpouchings of skin. So it's really just straight up skin. And it often occurs in areas of friction. It loves the armpits. It loves the neck. It can really occur anywhere on the body. And the reason why we say to have a derm remove them is there's a couple of reasons. One is you just never know when there's a feeder vessel going into one of those skin tags, and you will just will
Can bleed
be
a ton.
Yes.
oh my gosh, yeah. It'll
They
just be a
bleed
torturous
like
process at home.
crazy.
It's not fun, especially if you don't have the right tools to deal with
Yeah.
it at home. And then, and the second reason is, what if it's not a skin tag? And there was something that I thought was a skin tag, and it turned out to be a basal cell. It was kind of a rare basal cell variant, like the pincus. It
Basal
was
cell
the
syndrome
pincus
or
tumor.
something.
Yeah.
Um,
Fibroepithelioma of pincus.
yes, and so it could be cancer. So you
Yeah.
just want to have it looked at first before removing a growth from your body.
Yeah. And I will tell you, there's some people I've read online that recommend, and patients come in all the time. They're like, well, can't I just tie a string around it? And what you do when you do that is you essentially necrose the base, you cut off the blood supply, and then the skin tag dies and falls off. But I highly, highly recommend against doing that. I had one of my very near and dear patients come in who tried to do that. And then he ended up with like a serious infection on his back because he let that necrose and it got infected, and he had to go on antibiotics for several weeks. And it is just not a good idea.
Yeah, and some of like those like home skin tag removers,
Yeah.
they don't work. I've actually seen similar contact dermatitis and skin infections and irritation from that. And it's just have it done professionally treated. That's going to be the most effective. Don't waste your money on those other things.
I have a really sad story real quick of a patient. I think his heritage was Indian, and he had they're called dermatosis papulosa nigrans. So they're kind of in the skin tag family. They're little brown skin growths that you can get on your cheeks. And he bought an over-the-counter skin tag removal from Amazon, and he came in with essentially a crater that he developed. So he got terrible irritant dermatitis that resulted in a crater. And I think it's permanent. We tried hard to get rid of it, but it's so sad.
Terrible.
So yes,
Yeah,
agree
be
with not
careful.
getting those
Be
over-the-counter products.
Yeah.
Definitely be careful. Okay, so before we wrap up today's episode, let's go around and share our top takeaways for today. Like, what's one thing you want your listeners to take action on after this episode? Lindsay?
I think if anything, just wear the freaking SPF, right? Like, it's easy. You have no excuse. You're going to save yourself so much time, energy, and money, and not just for vanity reasons, but to prevent skin cancer. It's an easy thing to incorporate. Put it by your toothbrush. Put it on.
Love it. For me, it's remember to wash your face every day. It's might be annoying, but it will pay off. And if you can double cleanse, even better.
Love it. And then lastly, less is more when it comes to effective skincare, exfoliation, retinoids. You may need them, you may not. So really be intentional with what you use. The most important thing, if you do use both, try to space them out and definitely don't use them on the same day or night.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. We are so excited to continue to share our skincare and health and life knowledge with all of you. And just a friendly reminder, there's a PDF linked in the show notes so that you can download that contains all the key takeaways from today's episode.
And don't forget to hit that follow button on Apple Podcasts or Spotify so you never miss an episode. And if you find this episode helpful, share it with a friend.
And we can't wait to spend more time with you in our next episode of Skin Deep and Unfiltered.
This podcast is for informational and educational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice. The hosts are licensed dermatologists, but listening to this podcast does not create a doctor-patient relationship and is separate from their work as board-certified dermatologists. By listening to this podcast, you acknowledge and agree that the hosts and producers are not liable for the use of the information provided. Any reliance on the information is solely at your own risk. Always consult your own dermatologist or healthcare provider for advice specific to your needs. The hosts and producers are not responsible for any actions taken based on the information provided. If you have a medical emergency, seek immediate care from a healthcare professional or call emergency services.